Alright guys, what is going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video, and man oh man, do I have some very exciting news that could very well translate over to Call of Duty. This video has everything to do with Call of Duty, and trust me when I tell you, you might want to listen, because this certainly has a possibility of happening. So earlier today, or yesterday, depending on what time zone you're in, probably yesterday because of the time of this recording. Anyway, so yesterday, basically, Microsoft did something that we thought that they certainly weren't going to do because it's been such a long time. So exactly what am I talking about? So there was an event recently for fighting games, and out of nowhere, Killer Instinct was brought up. And Killer Instinct, for those of you guys that don't know, is an absolutely beloved fighting game that came out in 2013. Well, the original came out in 1994, but later on, it came out in 2013, and it got support for 4 years up until 2017. And then ever since then, there has been no support whatsoever, no news, no word, no nothing about the game. And people have been asking Microsoft left and right in order for them to do something in the form of anything with the game. And even more so, despite the fact that there's been nothing going on, players have been playing the game religiously, nonstop, absolutely loving it. You know, it's obviously on Game Pass. It's the net code is absolutely terrific. It's one of the big standouts about the game. The content of the game is content rich. It's easy to get into. It's extremely hard to master because the mechanics are extremely deep. There's everything that you could want in a great fighting game is in that game. And over the last 5+ years, there's been no support, no word whatsoever from Microsoft until today, or should I say until yesterday. So this is how I found out about it, right? I was going to play pool, and basically I saw that Maximilian Dude, who's one of my favorite content creators out there ever, made a video about it. He's like, hey, I got some Killer Instinct news. I'm like, oh great, I'm clicking on this and I'm listening, I'm watching. So I was shooting pool and I'm listening to this, and all of a sudden Max was actually on his live stream, and you know, he was talking to the chat, and then during the event, the gentleman that was presenting basically said, for those of you guys that love Killer Instinct, and I'm paraphrasing when I say this, he said, for those of you guys that love Killer Instinct, keep your eyes on the screen right now, we've got something to show you. And then Max all of a sudden was like, hey chat, I'll be right back. So he goes to the other side of his room, and then on the screen at the event, wham bam, there he is, Max. He's live. And guess what? There's Killer Instinct news, and he talks, and he brings on the guy, and he talks to him, and he's the guy that is the head of Killer Instinct, and obviously works for Microsoft. And basically, it was revealed that Killer Instinct would not just be getting a patch update in terms of balance, but would also be getting a generational update in terms of, you know, all the bells and whistles, right? Of the new consoles, right? We're talking up to 4K and additional frame rates, all that good stuff, right? Okay, but wait, there's more. They're also going to get content coming in, and it's going to be plenty content for maybe even another 10 years, according to the guy, and according to the guy when he took front and center stage about it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that because of the fact that there were probably tens and thousands of players. I don't know what the player count is for Killer Instinct Online these days. I really don't. But there were likely tens and thousands of players, if not more, playing the game on a regular basis and kept the game alive because it kept the population numbers up, right? And between the hype, well, between the fact that players wanted something, and between the fact that, and also the fact that people kept on playing the game because it was just an awesome game, guess what? Microsoft's like, yeah, not only we're going to bring the game back, but we're going to keep things going, right? We're going to take it to another level. And that was literally just announced yesterday. And I just can't help but think, as of recently, we've had the resurgency with the classic Call of Duties, right? The server's been turned back on. It's the same old classic Call of Duty experience. It was the peer-to-peer servers, and any problems that the game had before, they still had, but some games were more hacked than others, blah, 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 you name it, right? But as popular as Killer Instinct is for what it is, it's no Call of Duty in terms of popularity. You know, I'm sorry, and I love Killer Instinct. I was there when the game came out, the original game came out in 1994. I understand firsthand why that game is what it is. And I understand what's going on with the game now, and even before then. You know, it's one of the best fighting games ever made. It's one of the best fighting games over the last decade ever made. Now, I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, well, Call of Duty's probably got more numbers because it's even more popular. So I'm thinking to myself, imagine if Microsoft actually did this with Call of Duty. Now, the acquisition is going to go through on October the 18th of them officially acquiring Activision Blizzard because they're trying to sort things out and iron things out with the CMA, with the UK side of things, right? And the acquisition is going to go through. I mean, there's no courts or anything stopping them. It's just them ironing out the UK stuff. And, you know, October 18th is said to be the day. And after that, Microsoft would have acquired Activision Blizzard, and then they can do pretty much whatever the hell they want. And as of recently, right, they got the servers working on the old Xbox consoles. They even put the games on a discount online, so you can get them for $15 a pop or whatever it is. So, and people have come back and they're playing them. Now, granted, there's also, you know, there's still the hacking situation. There's still, you know, the peer-to-peer server situation thing, whatever, right? But we're talking tens and thousands of people per Call of Duty playing games that are like 10 plus years old, man. And the popularity and people making content and Call of Duty being the juggernaut that it is, imagine if Microsoft actually were to do what I'm about to say right now. Imagine if they had a video go up, or a little bit of an event, basically to where, you know, maybe Phil Spencer comes out or somebody else, basically, whoever. Could be anybody. Could be Vaughn. Who cares, right? They come out and they say, hey guys, hello Call of Duty community. We've noticed that you guys have been very dedicated. Now that Call of Duty's back home on Xbox and under Microsoft or whatever, we wanted to do something for you guys to show our appreciation, because you guys have been showing your support. You've been playing the game. You've obviously are telling us that you love the game. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give the game a next-gen upgrade to where you could play at 120 hertz of up to 1440p and 60 at 4K with the classic Call of Duty titles. We're going to put them all on dedicated servers, and we're going to patch them up so that way we can minimize cheating as much as possible. If Microsoft were to actually do that, do you have any idea the kind of impact and reaction that would happen within the Call of Duty community? And then furthermore, they could end the presentation by saying, stay tuned, we have more information to come, especially with our new Call of Duty titles coming up, and more. Thank you for being loyal Xbox fans or loyal Call of Duty fans or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. Do you have any idea the kind of reactions people would have? Do you have any idea the kind of reaction videos you're going to see on YouTube? Or, you know, content creators talking about this, people just being excited left and right? Imagine that for a minute. Like, imagine playing, like, let's say, which Call of Duty right now of the classic Call of Duties is your favorite, right? Let's say Black Ops 1, right? Can you imagine Black Ops 1 at a smooth 120 frames of up to, like, let's say 1440p on dedicated fucking servers? And with a little patch update, you know, to minimize the cheating? Picture that for a second. Imagine that. Would you play it? Yeah, I'm pretty damn guaranteed. I mean, a good percentage of you are playing the game right now, even in the state that it's been, now that it's been brought back in the same way that it was before. So it's like, imagine if all those classic Call of Duty games were to, you know, the resurgency that we're getting now from these games is absolutely nothing in comparison that we would get then. Now, Black Ops 2, for instance, has a population count of, I don't know, between 10 and 12,000 or something like that, right? On any given day, especially on weekends, right? Despite the fact that it's got problems and everything else, right? Right? Okay. So that's the player count, right? What do you think the player count for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 would be if this shit were to happen? Think about that for a minute. What do you think the player count would be for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 if this were to happen? We're talking no hackers, like let's say they got rid of theater mode or whatever, no hackers, patched, next-gen upgrade, and still on sale on the Xbox Live Store. Oh, and to go even further, they released the classic games on Game Pass. Think about that for a minute. What do you think the numbers of Black Ops 2 are going to spike to if that were to happen? I would say at least 100,000. And this game is 10 plus years old. Okay? So if we're getting, 10 plus thousand people playing these older Call of Duty games in the state that they were in before the servers had problems or whatever it was, imagine with the whole next gen upgrade for these Call of Duty games, a patch to, make cheating less, less of a thing. And you get to experience the game in all its glory. You would have right then and there a handful of classic arcade shooters, fully functional, updated and upgraded, running on dedicated servers instead of peer-to-peer, which would make them better and safer to play at 120 hertz and all that stuff. Like, dude, do you have any idea the kind of impact that would have? And it's possible with Microsoft because they did this with a smaller franchise in Killer Instinct. Imagine doing this with the classic Call of Duty titles. The classic Call of Duty titles, which are, even when you put the numbers together of all these classic Call of Duty titles that are being played today, I mean, that's significant. That's substantial. And quite frankly, if they want to see what would happen, all Phil Spencer has to do is go on and say, hey, or Vonderhaar, for instance, right? Either Phil Spencer, Vonderhaar, whatever. What if we did this? Like, do you have any idea the kind of response that he would get on Twitter? Or should I say X? I'm always going to call it Twitter, but whatever. Do you have any idea the kind of response that man would get if that were to be a thing? That'd be huge. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to make the video about today. This actually happened with Killer Instinct. And if they were to do this with Call of Duty, dude, with the classic Call of Duty titles, while making new Call of Duties and giving them this amount of love and passion that they deserve, because the franchises do deserve that, right? Be given that kind of love and support. So if all of a sudden they were to do that, dude, it's over. It is over, dude. It is going to be huge. We're talking something that, especially when the new titles come out, dude, oh man, we're talking something that's gonna rival a lot of different franchises out there. We're talking people stopping to play other games and coming over to play this shit. But yeah, that's what I think. But more importantly, I want to know down in the comment section what you guys think. What do you guys think would happen? First of all, what do you think the chances are of this happening are? Number one. Number two, if it does happen, what do you think the response would be? And number three, what do you think the player count for these games would be? We're talking Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, all the way up through Ghosts at least, right? What do you think the population count would be? And if anything, just let me know down in the comment section. I would really like to know. I think this was definitely a video worth making. So again, content is running dry simply because there's not much going on. But with this happening, dude, this could easily translate over to Call of Duty. And Microsoft would have to kind of be a fool or dumb or stupid to not see this, especially with the recent data and the recent resurgence of everything that's happened recently with them just turning the servers back on. So but yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section. And would you like to see this happen? Let me know. Thank you all very much for watching as usual, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.